This is How to Drink, the show about making cocktails and how to drink them. I'm Greg, and I have never been a professional bartender. I've never even had a job in a bar. I don't worry too much about precision and technique, because at the end of the day, if the drink you like is in the glass, you did it right. Let's get going. Today, let's make a New York sour. New York sour, you know, you might call it a fancy sour if it was the 1890s. It's a variation on the whiskey sour that you would have found a lot of places in the 1890s. According to David Wondrich, at least as far as I understand from his book Imbibe, one of the places you might not encounter is actually New York. He's not really sure if it was invented there and got the name by virtue of being a New York style of a sour, or if it was invented in Boston and got the name kind of as like, oh, the kind of thing the assholes in New York drink. This is basically a whiskey sour that's been dressed up with all of the kinds of bells and whistles that you would find in the 1890s. In the 1890s, cocktails had a lot of ingredients. They were really complicated, and they were probably at the height of their complication, ingredient-wise and as far as ornamentation goes, really up until you get to Prohibition, when drink ingredient numbers scale way back, because access, of course, is difficult to get at, and all of the quality bartenders either close up shop or move out of the country. Let's just make it, all right? I've been talking enough. What's in it? It's gonna have rye, Curaçao, it's gonna have some simple syrup and egg white. We're going to do a little bit of seltzer in there. That would be a thing that would have been common. But the really defining feature of a New York sour is a float of red wine. Red wine and a whiskey sour in your head probably sounds disgusting. It is actually fantastic. The first time I had one of these, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this works. I'm gonna use a Bordeaux. I think that Bordeaux is probably the right choice here, period-wise, but you can use anything that's kind of dry with a lot of fruit notes in it would be, I mean, you can use anything, but a dry wine with some fruit notes in it, or a dry-ish wine. I'm not really up on my wines. I'm saying dry and fruit notes because those are the words that I have accumulated to say about this. They are accurate to what I'm going to be using, but I'm not like a wine, I'm not a sommelier. That's not what I am. I don't know much about wine. But dry wine, fruit notes, this Bordeaux does that. And we're gonna float that onto the top of the cocktail. It's gonna float and just sink right below the egg white, so we have a froth. It's a pretty cool drink. It looks really neat. And that's pretty much it. I don't think I have anything else to say about it. We're gonna make some rye, and let's just make the dang drink. What do you say? We're gonna make it. That didn't look cool. I looked like a jerk. We're gonna make it in a shaker. I looked a little snap in my step. Oh yeah, speaking of snap, Chicago round, they would not refer to this as a wine float. They would call it the claret snap. Claret being a term for wine that is kind of universal. Claret, I think, is a kind specific of wine, but you don't see it so much anymore. And you could order any drink with a claret snap, with a wine float. I want to start this drink with 1 ounce of lemon juice. Cut that in half, boom, done. A jiggery-doo. I'm gonna make this with a ½ ounce of gum syrup. In Imbibe, he talks about using superfine sugar. That would be more historically accurate. Gum is a close second, and it's a lot easier for me to work with. There we go, ½ ounce of gum syrup. That's a 2-to-1 ratio, and some gum arabic in there. We're gonna use a ¼ ounce of Curaçao. We're gonna need an egg white. My eggs are, of course, very clean and fresh, so should be yours. I don't measure the egg whites. Some bartenders will say 1 ounce of egg white because they put it all into a squeeze bottle and they use that. You are looking for roughly 1 ounce of egg white. I don't think having a little bit more or less than that is gonna be an issue. What I do is I just use large eggs, not extra large, not jumbo. If they had medium eggs, I would probably buy those, but essentially I'm looking for the smallest eggs I can get. That's gonna be the right amount. Now we wanna put in 2 ounces of rye. We're gonna do a technique now called dry shaking. I'm gonna shake this without ice before I shake it with ice. I'm gonna do that because it really helps emulsify the egg white and develop that extremely dense froth that we're looking for. That's more than enough of that. 1 cube in my big tin, 1. Turn this to the shaker. Really cool effect there with that smoke coming out, I thought. All right. I have a chilled glass that I like to use for my sours here. Now to finish this, we're gonna take this bottle of Bordeaux, take my bar spoon, and I'm going to put it at the level of the drink, sort of like that, and just sort of top this off with wine. And so there is our New York Sour. A lot of the 1890s would call for a splash of seltzer at this point. I don't think it's necessary, but if you want to, go ahead, give it a little top up. If I was better at this float business, there would be a nice separation here. Instead, we're seeing some streaks going on. That's okay. I'm gonna garnish this drink with a desiccated lemon wheel, just floating right in the center there. I think that looks pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. Let's see how we did. And that's outstanding. That is very good. So, it is tart, and it is everything you want a sour to be. It is fragrant and bracing, but it has a really smooth mouthfeel from the egg white, which I love. You get the wine notes, and you get the whiskey kind of right behind it. It's a fun drink. It's a good drink. Let's go for her again. Oh my. Oh yes. You know, if it's the 1890s and you're sitting at the Exchange, which was Jerry Thomas's bar, it burnt down whenever P.T. Barnum's museum burnt down, because the Exchange was on top of P.T. Barnum's. So I hope it was still standing in the 1890s. I don't know when that place went up. This would be the kind of drink you might have. This is How to Drink, the show about making cocktails and how to drink them. Thanks for watching. We made a New York sour today. Also, maybe you might call it a fancy sour. We used some Bordeaux wine, we used some rye, some gum syrup, lemon juice, some Curaçao, a splash of seltzer, which I could take or leave, but you know, if you're really trying to go full 1890s, that might have been the way it was served. It doesn't really need it, in my opinion, but for accuracy, you know, whatever, you can throw it in there. If you like the show, I hope you're gonna subscribe. Hit the like button. I hate asking people to do that. You could check out my Instagram at How to Drink, or you could check out my Twitter at How to Drink. You could buy some of the things I use on the show over at thisishowtodrink.com/gear. You know why I have thisishowtodrink.com? Because the guy with howtodrink.com wants like 30 grand for it. Whatever, fine. I put a I got This Is How to Drink. Screw you, buddy. Screw you. That's the show. I'll see you guys next week with another cocktail. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm getting crunk up in here on New York sours. New York crunk. You know what else? Let's just take that. That's fun. That is delicious. Very lemony. It really hits your nose. Am I like drooling purple here? Wash it down a little New York sour. That's a delectable combo. We should just have like dried lemon chips and New York sours for crudites. Crudites.